Welcome to another podcast. Thank you for watching. And today we have my wonderful co host, Amy Sawyer from
Hi.
Norway. Hey, Amy. And our special guest is none other than Ida Girl and Dubliner Sarah Vaughan, who has carved out an extraordinary career. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
In
Lovely to see you
music
both.
and performance, balancing operatic expertise and versatility across theater and television. Sarah is a graduate of National University of Ireland, Maynooth. Is that how it pronounce it? Maynooth?
That's it, Maynooth. Yeah.
Maynooth? Where she learned her BA in music and performance. Sarah has trained under esteemed vocal coaches in both the UK and Ireland. Her portfolio is brimming with high profile roles from Belle in Beauty and the Beast, to Anne
Oh,
Shelton
no
in The
way.
Code. She's dazzled audiences globally in productions like Jack and the Beanstalk, The Pirates of Penzance, and operas like The Magic Flute and La Traviata. La Traviata was my mom's favorite opera. That and
Oh,
Evita. That and Evita were her favorite.
beautiful.
So now based in London, Sarah continues to build her legacy as a member of the classical crossover group Ida Girls London, which also has these amazing soprano members Wendy Carr, Jasmine Faulkner, and Georgie Mottram, who were actually hopefully to have on the podcast at one point. Um, so Sarah's operatic rendition of Never Enough on ITV's Walk the Line garnered praise and likes of Simon Cowell and Gary Barlow, propelling the group's performance to viral successes with performances spanning U.S. tours, West End premieres, and international releases. Sarah Vaughan exemplifies artistic excellence and Irish pride. Welcome, Sarah Vaughan, to the show. Pleased to meet you.
Thank you so much and lovely to be here with you both.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Sarah, can you go back to the beginning of your experiences growing up in Clondalkin, I think you pronounce it?
Clondalkin. That's
Clondalkin.
it.
And what were some early musical influences that shaped your passion for singing?
Well, I actually started with piano lessons, and my auntie was my piano teacher. I still play, I teach singing and I play in my teaching singing, but I used to get ridiculously nervous in my piano exams. And in my piano exams, there was a little section where you'd have to sing. And they would always stop me and be like, "Oh, maybe you should do singing instead," because my hands would shake so much when I was doing the piano. Um, but I was very shy, very very shy child. So I used to sing at home all the time. And it wasn't really until secondary school that I started singing in public.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, and who were your early musical influences? Like, what
Ooh,
shaped your passion for singing?
it was people like Sinead O'Connor, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, Steps, basically anyone with a big voice. That's it.
Wow.
Tina Turner. Yeah,
Tina Turner. Wow.
yeah. Basically anything loud, I loved.
That's quite a broad, you know, like, wow, oh yeah, Sinead O'Connor. Yeah, she was big as well.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Nothing Compares to You. Every time it would come on the TV, I would just stand, and I was tiny. I would just come and stand in front of it, staring at the telly. Loved it. So yeah.
That's amazing. So, can you share a memorable experience from your time at Sacred Heart Primary School that inspired your journey into music?
Oh, we had so my in Ireland. I can't remember what it's called in England, and I've no idea what it's called in the States. But junior infants is like, I guess, like kindergarten. Um, I don't know. I can't remember what that's called in England. But so you're like 4 years old, and I was lucky because my teacher was the music teacher as well. So she ran the choir and kind of gave us more music in our lessons. Miss Butler was her name, and she was amazing. So I was kind of put in the choir and stuff like that. However, I was always told to sing quieter because I used to just go. And it used to, if you were a good singer, you were put in the seconds, which was like the harmony line. I was never put in the seconds. I think because I sang too loud, so they were like, "Be quiet." But that's kind of where it started. And then in Ireland, obviously, you're brought up. It's very Catholic. So you make your Holy Communion when you're in second class. You're about, I don't know what age that would be, like 7 or 8 years old. Um, and I had to do a little song and a dance that had like this little routine
Mhm.
for our little performance there. So yeah, so they were always really supportive there, but also I was too loud. So yeah.
Did you have a good relationship with your parents and your siblings, if you have any? Like, and did they encourage you to go into music?
Yeah, so I've got two sisters, both younger, who are both amazing. Debbie, the middle one, is she kind of never really went into music. She's the only one of us who didn't. Um, she's so smart. And then Ashlyn, the youngest, she can sing and play guitar really well, but she used to not want to sing in front of me. I think because it was like Sarah just singing. She's a brilliant singer, so I used to sneak in when she had a gig and sneak in the back to listen, and she's so good. But she's kind of moved away from that now. And then mum used to drive me to all my singing lessons. Um, and dad used to come along to everything. So yeah, they were always so supportive and so kind of would push you to do whatever made you happy because they're amazing.
Um, how did the Ida girls start? Like, how did you end up with Jasmine and Wendy and Georgie? Like, how did it all
So
start?
in 2018 is when I joined. And at that point, it was Georgie, a girl called Laura, who's one of my great friends, who's moved back to Australia now. She was one of the original members, and Wendy. And I replaced a lovely girl called Beth, who just kind of wanted to step away and focus on home stuff. Um, so I went to Georgie's kitchen and sang with them, met them, chatted to them, and they were all just so lovely. So then I joined, and then I think it was a couple of years later. I can't remember what year Jasmine joined, but it was a couple of years later when Laura moved back to Australia that Jasmine joined then. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. And then you joined.
Well, speaking of Ida, there, well, because I've been following this group for like a while now, and I'm honestly convinced they have all fun and never stop. But is there any funny behind the scenes stories you could share?
Oh God, there's probably loads. We always, I think my favorite story is a Georgie story, where I can't remember where we went. Georgie is renowned for her packing, which I'm sure she'll tell you when you chat to her, but her packing usually just involves just shoving everything in her suitcase and hoping for the best. She always has everything, but it's just not very organized. And she's such an organized person in general that it's funny. I can't remember, we were on a cruise somewhere and Georgie opened her suitcase and it was just the fake tan had spilled all over everything. So that was very funny. Um, oh, there's been loads of stuff that's happened. Usually, just any gig we're on, we just end up half of it is just spent in laughter because of silly little things that probably nobody else would find funny. um, but yeah, I think it's nearly all funny to be honest. There's always something, some little bit, or oh, everyone's just funny together. It's just a good mix of personalities, I think.
Well, I love your rendition of the Lark and Titanium. Are there any other solo projects in the works or dream songs you would like to record?
Yes, so Ewan that I worked on the Lark and Take It With Me. We're actually working on some more stuff at the moment, and we're actually also working on a re-release of the Lark. We're just currently getting that remastered, so that will be coming very soon. And then we've got some nice projects lined up together then for the rest of the summer that we're going to get going on, which is very exciting. I love working with him; he's a genius. Um, so yeah, so we have some more Irishy stuff coming.
How do you get together to like what's the song process for the Lark and Titanic? How did you put that together? Like how did it start? How did you
So
decide on that song?
Titanium was through a friend of mine called Mark back in Ireland. And during lockdown, he put together this thing called the Ivory Sessions just to kind of keep everyone doing something and connected, I guess, while we were in lockdown. And he suggested a couple of songs that he thought would, he knows me quite well, so he suggested a few songs that he thought might work. And I love Titanium, so I was like, yes. So he came up with the arrangement and he basically sent me the piano part and was like, see what you want to do with the vocal, and we just recorded. So he sent me that. I recorded live with a video to that, and then he's mastered it, and that was Titanium. And then the Lark was a song that it's a singer called Kate Rusby who wrote it. She's amazing. Listen to her stuff; she's great. But Ewan was like, I think you'll really like the song, so I had to listen to it, and then his magic, he came up with this great arrangement of that. So I'm very lucky. I'm just surrounded by really talented people.
Were there
So
any
yeah.
parts of either Lark or Titanium that were pretty difficult for you to sing, or was it all
Um,
smooth?
Titanium was quite smooth. Titanium's kind of hard, but it was quite smooth, I think, because you're at home recording, because that was lockdown. You're kind of really comfortable. So that makes it always a little bit easier.
Mhm.
But finding the balance in that song is hard because you don't want to make it, I guess for my, well, I was going to say I don't want to make it too poppy, but I kind of would sing a bit of whatever. So, but it was kind of trying to find a little crossovery element in Titanium. Um, but because of the register it sits in, singing teacher, um, it's kind of nice and easy to do that with. And then with the Lark, it was kind of finding a nice speech quality with it, just to get the nice folky element in it. But I think when you love a song, it's just easy to sing because you love it so much. So yeah.
So what if you, Georgie, Jasmine, um, what if you all want to do a song but you don't? Is it possible that you don't agree on a song to do? How do you end up where you all four of you are okay? Let's do it.
Um, I don't think that's happened yet.
Oh,
We usually are kind of on the same page with songs. We will always discuss if we're coming up with new stuff, kind of what we think will work, what won't work. But Wendy does all the arrangements, and Wendy is amazing and will kind of write the arrangement to suit everybody's voice. So even if someone's like, "Oh, I'm not sure about that song," you end up loving it because Wendy's arrangement is so good. But I don't think I can. Is there a song? There's a few songs that I personally just don't like as songs that Ida do, but I like the Ida arrangement. So, for example, Memory from Cats. I hate that song.
oh.
But I really like the Ida arrangement. But as a song and as a show, I hate it. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Though they're all great, like songs that you do. So in the Pirates of Penzance and Candida, they're celebrated works. But what was it like to embody iconic characters like Mabel and Cunegonde? I think his name is. Is it Cunegonde?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cunegonde, yeah. Mabel, I loved. It was just, I think with both of them, they're just so fun to sing. Um, I was actually supposed to sing Glitter and Be Gay last night, but as you can probably hear, I've got a fluey, coldy thing happening. So I had to cut that song from the set. It's like I'm not getting up there tonight. Um, but I think they're both so fun to sing. And I would say they're both kind of similar characters, actually, if you look at them. Um, there is an element of like superficiality to both of them, but underneath that, there's reasons for it. Um, so I quite enjoy finding both sides of those things, but mostly it was just playing around with the crazy acrobatic vocals and that I think that I found so fun. And in both casts, I was with such lovely, talented people that it's just so much fun. I basically do things because I find them really fun.
Oh, what's one thing about you that your fans, such as myself, may not know?
Oh, that's a hard question because I kind of tell everybody everything. um, oh, that's a really hard one. Uh, Amy, you put me on the spot. Um, what would people not know? Oh God, I guess people don't know how much I teach. I teach singing a lot. Um, so I teach in two universities, two
Wow.
like high schools. Privately, I musical direct shows. So I do a lot of that side of things as well as performing, which
Mm.
I guess people don't see as much of. But that's what I love. I absolutely
Wow.
adore, and I would never pick one over the other. Um, so I guess that would probably be something. Um, I don't know.
I feel like Ida girl. I don't know. Get it? Ida
Yeah,
no.
that's our quiz name. So when we do a table quiz, our name is I don't know.
Yeah. So do you think you studying at the National University of Ireland, Maynooth, teach you about music and performance?
Yes, so it was kind of like an academic music degree. Before that, I did 3 years in applied music at another university. in Ireland as well, which was kind of more technology mixed with theory, mixed with performance. Um, and then Maynooth was kind of academic with a specialisation in your third year. So I went in straight into second year because I'd done the other one. Um, and in third year then specialised in performance. But a lot of it was academic as well. And what was nice with it was you were with people from lots of different disciplines and different instruments. So it's really interesting, and made some really great friends there as well. And my friends from my first degree we're all still like really, really close. WhatsApp group, constant, which is really nice. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So what's your favorite part about performing with Georgie, Wendy, and Jasmine?
Ooh. Oh, it's a few things. Okay. So probably number one is I just love the sound when we're all together. I love the harmonies. Um, but also it's the fun, like straight after, and it's kind of knowing on stage that you're supported. So say, for example, like I'm a bit sick right now. If one of us is sick, you know that you've got three
Yeah.
people behind you who have your back and are supporting you. So, which has happened on many occasions. There's always been times where one of us has been ill, and then everyone will kind of step in to like cover little bits that we need to cover. Um, and I think everyone just knows their voice, their instrument so well that you're just safe. You're just always safe. And it's just fun. And we get to put on nice dresses and nice makeup.
Yeah,
So yeah.
amazing. Wow. Um, like, who were the vocal coaches that influenced your development as a singer, and what lessons from them have stuck with you?
So I went to a few different teachers in Ireland. The first teacher that I think made a massive difference to like me in general, my confidence, my voice, everything, was an amazing teacher called Maureen Ward. Back in Dublin. She's amazing. And she opened up my voice. Before I went to her, I used to only sing like Christina Aguilera and Celine Dion. And I used to stop, I used to think I was an alto. So I used to stop at like a D above middle C. Um, well, the D above that. And I thought that was the side I could do. And she opened up the classical side of my voice and my upper register, which I didn't even know I had before that. And she was so supportive and got me in front of so many people and introduced me to the people that put me in the first musicals I did. So she basically is the reason I'm doing everything I'm doing now. She's amazing. And then when I was doing my music degree, I had an amazing opera teacher called Virginia Kerr,
Mm.
unbelievable teacher. And I think I'd picked up loads of bad habits on the way, so she kind of had to peel me back, which I remember at the time hating. And I was like, I don't want to sing that song. It's really easy. And she was like, no, you need to. And I'm so glad she pushed me because, again, she just opened up this whole other side to my voice that I didn't know I had and was really
Wow.
patient with me when I was like, I don't want to do that. um, and then when I used to go to some lessons over in London, I used to fly over every now and again with an amazing teacher called Mary Hammond, um, who was great for, again, the other side of things. And then I've met so many amazing teachers now along the way, and I've had a few teachers over in the States as well, just to kind of check in and get different opinions on things. And I think now, because I teach as well, you can kind of just start getting in the habit of, I don't know, I will listen to my students more than I will listen to myself. So it's nice to have outside ears
Hmm.
to kind of just be like, oh, well, maybe try this way that you won't necessarily pick up on yourself. So yeah,
Well,
that's
whatever
super
they were
useful.
teaching you did really well because the Les Miserables rendition that all four of you did sounded really good. Were you doing it in
Oh,
the studio, with the headset? It's really
that was at
amazing.
home. So that was during lockdown as well. So we
That
all
was
did those
amazing.
in our
That was,
living rooms and
yeah,
then edited it together.
that was
So yeah,
amazing. Yeah, it was amazing.
that was another Wendy Carr arrangement. See, she's good. She's great.
Oh, this is a good one. Let's see. Can you share a memorable moment from your early career that made you realize this path was right?
Oh, oh God, so many.
Get you
I
on the
feel
spot
like
again?
I know. I feel like so the first like professional thing I did would have been in the chorus of La Traviata when I was,
Ooh.
I don't even know what age I was. I was a teenager. Um, And I feel like that was my first time in front of like a big audience. I'd done like little bits, but that was my first time in front of a big audience, um, with the most amazing company and the most amazing director, like MD. Everyone was amazing. Um, so I feel like once I did that, I was like, I want to do this. And I feel like again, because I was so shy, I kind of needed people to push me, and they're the kind of people that I was around. Um, so again, it's just being lucky with nice people kind of pushing me to the right places at the right times. Um, and then I got really lucky to go to Sweden. Was it Sweden?
Hmm.
Yes. Sweden with the show, with a group. That again, I met. Basically, every show I did would introduce me to new people that would then kind of push me into the next little thing. Um, which again, all came from Maureen Ward. If I hadn't have met her in the first place, so she set everything in motion. She's amazing. Um, and then yeah, we got to go to Sweden with the show, and I remember just thinking, "This is amazing! I'm getting to travel already." And then that kind of set off the travel bug, and then I did so much singing abroad after that, which was amazing. Getting paid to see the world and sing, I was like, "This is like being on holiday and doing my favorite thing at the same time." So it was great.
We were speaking. Both Amy and I had Christina Johnson on. She said that she actually sang in different languages like Hebrew and Arabic. What about you? Like, what language, other languages, do you sing in? And
Um,
which one would you find to be the most difficult language to sing in?
well, I used to find when I was doing my degree, German I found the most difficult because I had just never, it was a language I'd never used. Um, so that took me a lot more work than the others. Um, Irish I have sung in quite a bit, but my speaking Irish needs some practice. um, I used to love singing in French, Italian, Spanish. I spoke Spanish and French in school. Both are now very, it's been a while. And I've been learning my Italian and Duolingo, but Italian is just lovely to sing in. Um, so I'd say now it's mostly English. And every now and again, I do a lot of the jazz songs I do. We also do French versions just because they sound nice in French. Um, so I'd say they're the two I use the most now. But yeah, I'm boring. It's mostly English.
Especially in Italian, you'd have to get the phonetics proper, like nessun dorma, not nessun
Yeah,
dorma. You have to
yeah,
get the
dorma.
rolling R's, and it's kind of interesting. But to sing in Italian, I think the most difficult would be singing Arabic or actually
Oh, I'd
Hebrew.
say so.
I, I have no idea how she was able to do that, but she only had what was it, Amy? She said she had a week to learn Hebrew to sing that one song.
I think so, yeah.
That's
It's
wow, a
crazy.
week to learn
Moves so
Hebrew.
fast.
And I
Wow,
feel like the vowels and everything are so different,
I know.
and the
Hmm.
articulation. So that's impressive.
I know. Um, with the classical and operatic genres, like how do you make them accessible to modern audiences?
I think a lot of it is down to the arrangement of it, actually. And I think, yeah, I do. I think a lot of it is down to the arrangement because, especially with the young people that I teach, the youngest would be like early teenager. Most of them are adults that I teach. So the youngest would be early teenager, and they don't necessarily like classical music. But if I show them something that's kind of mixed with a style they know, um, they find it, I don't know, more accessible, and I guess they'd find it more impressive. I'm trying to slowly introduce them into opening up that side of their voices now, just to have a play, just so that I'm like, it'll be more versatile. You can sing a bit of everything, um, but also just so they can. It's so powerful singing that way, especially as a young person. Like that's what I used to love about it. You would feel it just feels different in your body, and I kind of want them to experience that. So I think it's giving it a little modern twist, which I think is down to the arrangement, and giving it more airplay, which it doesn't get a lot of unless it is kind of crossed over into like a poppier style, which I think a lot of the time you can just do with the instrumental side of it, and then you can still have the classical side. I think half the time it's just adding like a cool drum beat onto it that's gonna pop it up a little bit for them.
Yeah, it's amazing how you can just choose between. It's just amazing. It's I don't know. I like opera but I think you can take any pop song out there and operatize it. I think you can.
Number 3. Oh, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Ooh, I love Bonnie Tyler. So anything Bonnie Tyler or
Mm-hmm.
anything Celine Dion. So last night at the concert I did last night, I did All Coming Back to Me, which was like Meatloaf then Celine Dion. That's
Ah,
another go-to.
Wow.
Um, basically anything big and belty. But it's I don't love karaoke because I feel like there's more pressure on you when people know you're a singer and then you do karaoke. They're expecting it to be good, and I think the best karaoke isn't good because it's not fun if it's good. So yeah, I find karaoke too full of pressure, but that would be my go-to. Any of those voices.
Yeah, when you mentioned Bonnie Tyler, she's my favorite as well. I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe Ida Girl should do a version of Total Eclipse of the Heart. I can
I
imagine you
love that
doing that
song.
version. I can imagine you
yes.
doing that one. Like,
That would actually be a great one.
yeah, and make it sort of like a Bohemian Rhapsody type thing, where for you like, Total Eclipse of the Heart, and just that'd be great.
Yeah,
But that might be quite an
yeah, cool
arrangement
music
though.
video.
But yeah, yeah, it would
Yeah,
be pretty
we'll get
good.
Wendy onto that.
Yeah, it would be really good. Um, Sarah, so amongst your many theatrical credits, which role has been the most challenging or rewarding, and why?
Okay, probably Follies. I played young Sally, and I don't know if you know that show. It's Stephen Sondheim. It's brilliant, and there's so many. Well, with every Sondheim, there's so many layers to the characters and to the stories, and I just loved. Well, I loved the show. I loved the music. I loved Sondheim. Um, but you're playing the younger version of a character. The woman who was playing Sally, I was going to say older Sally, but just Sally. She
Mhm.
wasn't old. Um, was unbelievable. And to play the younger version of that before she had kind of gone through everything she had gone through, but also knowing everything she'd gone through because you're kind of playing the ghost of her. Um,
Mhm.
that was amazing. Like I keep saying everything's amazing, but that was amazing. Because it's just finding all those layers, which I loved, and I feel like they're really truthful characters, so they're really interesting. Um, and then I do love Cinderella. I know Cinderella's the role I've played the most, but I do love Cinderella. I feel like Panto is obviously it's a very British thing. They have it in Ireland as well, and Panto is not a serious thing. But I feel like because I've done Cinderella so much in my brain, there are so many layers to Cinderella. um, so I wouldn't say she's the most challenging, but she's been my favorite.
I know the Idol girls are unique. Are you prepared, like you said that Laura had left the group and you joined? Are you prepared if one day Georgie decides to walk away, or Jasmine, and it ends up sort of like 10 years from now, all Ida girls are all different. All of you are gone. Are you prepared for that?
Well, yeah, like this year, for example, Georgie and Jasmine are kind of doing their own thing this year. So the Ida gigs that we have this year are going to be me, Wendy, and two of our lovely Deps. So, like this whole year, I don't think we have anything that's going to be the four of us together anyway. So we're kind of used to people go off and do their own thing, and we'll have like, because we've got so many amazing people that we can kind of pop in, like jigsaws in and out. Um, once we have a couple of like the core four. So I think we're kind of used to switching things around um, as we go. So yeah, I do miss Laura. She's like one of my closest friends. But she's got a gorgeous little baby now in Australia, so we're very happy for her.
Well, this is interesting because I hope all four of you continue and none of you leave the group, because it seems to be like you mesh well, and you also lean on each other and are there for one another. So that's what a real group is, you
Yeah.
know?
Let's see. Oh, so I've noticed you've worked with artists such as like Nadia Ida and seen some of your comments as well, like very supportive. Um, how vital is that sense of community to you?
Oh, I love Nadia. So I'm trying to think when Nadia and I first met. I think it was in a group called the Opera Girls. Or did we meet before that? It could have been in Voce. So basically, me and Nadia had sung together. I knew Nadia before I knew Ida. And I think we met at an audition for a group called Voce, which I used to sing with, which was similar to Ida before I joined Ida. And we just got on really well straight away. I think we're very similar personalities. Nadia is the fittest person I know. So we are. She's definitely fitter than me. And we've sung a lot together. And we've done a lot of gigs together, and we've been lucky to travel a lot together. And now we do lots of hiking together. So actually, later this year, we're going to be doing the National Three Peaks Challenge, which is you climb the three highest mountains in England, Scotland, and Wales in 24 hours. So, yeah, so we're going to be doing that in August. But Nadia, she's so fit, so I'm like, I need to catch up. We climbed the highest mountain in Norway last year. Was that last year? Or the year before? I can't remember. And Nadia was like up the mountain. I'd say I was about half an hour behind her, being like, wait. So I'm going to get my fitness up for this one so I can keep up. But yeah, she's lovely and she's so talented. And she's really just so driven as well. So it's really great to have people like that around you again, just to kind of push you. So yeah.
Never enough, never enough for me, for me, for me. All the shine of a thousand spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough.
Oh. When working with the Ida girls, how do you all collaborate on arranging harmonies and choosing repertoire?
So choosing repertoire is usually somebody will hear a song they really like and be like, what about this? Usually that person is Wendy. And then arrangement wise, it's like 99.9% of the time Wendy will do the arrangements. And again, she'll kind of arrange it. We all have strengths in different parts of our voices. So Wendy will arrange things to people's strengths. And then when we get into rehearsal, if we need to adjust anything, we'll kind of swap things around a little bit. But we usually don't have to because Wendy's so good. So usually, and she's great as well, but she'll give you the sheet music, she'll give you a vocal line recording. So she just makes everything so easy. Wendy is very organised. We all need to be more like Wendy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You ready for this, Sarah?
All
I'm
right.
ready.
Go.
Let's see. How would you describe Georgie, Wendy, and Jasmine in one word?
Oh. Did they get one word each or one word
Yeah,
as
one
a
word
collective? Oh. Oh god, that's really hard. Well, okay. Jasmine, princess. Georgie, sparkly. Wendy. Oh, Wendy's like my best friend, so best friend. Oh, that's a really hard question. I feel like Wendy is just like power. That's probably the word I'd use to describe Wendy. Power. Yeah,
So that's a good question, Amy.
that's a
That was
really
a great
good
one.
question.
So, Sarah, appearing on Walk the Line must have been thrilling. What was the most memorable part of that experience for you?
Do you know what my most memorable part of that, which was the scary part? We had to wear little in-ears, so little earphones, so you could hear what you were doing. And the vocal coach, just before the camera went live, came up to you and was like, "This is your note," because I started the song with no intro; it just was straight in. And she came up, she was like, "This is your note," and then they were like, "Go." So I didn't even have time to put my ear back in, so I couldn't hear anything. I was like, "Oh my god!" So I had to kind of sing blind for the first, I'd say 30 seconds before I could sneak it in because I didn't want to be like putting it in with the camera right in my face. So my most memorable moment is that fear. But I think the moment when we all hit the big harmony in the middle, which actually they cut out of the version they put on the telly, they cut that bit. I just remember that sounding so full and big and powerful, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." So probably a mixture of both of those things. And seeing my mum flew over and was in the audience. She flew
Oh,
over from
Oh,
Dublin, so that was
nice.
really nice. Yeah.
Nice. So, how did it feel to receive such positive feedback from the Walk the Line judges on your rendition of Never Enough?
It was great. I mean, we also got some constructive criticism as well. Um, but I mean, all feedback is good feedback. So it was really nice. I'm a massive fan of Dawn French, who was on the panel. Um, so for her to say nice things, I was like, I love her. She's brilliant. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She's like on a lot of English TV, but she's a comedian and she's just brilliant. She's so funny. So to have her, that was kind of my favorite. And then Craig David, I guess because he was so popular when I was a teenager, it was cool to have him there. And Alicia Dixon is just so glam and beautiful. Um, and then Gary Barlow is Gary Barlow, like everyone knows Gary Barlow. So yeah, it was really cool.
oh. So if you could cover any song next with the Ida Girls, what would it be?
Good question. Oh, hard question. So we actually recorded. We were starting to record an album. It'd be like 2 years ago now, maybe even more. So I don't know what's happening with that. Because there was some stuff on that will be new, but I think that's on pause at the moment. Um, and it's been so long since we recorded it that I'm like I can't even remember what some of the stuff we recorded. Um, but next, oh, I don't even know. I feel like it would be cool to take. Well, now I want to do Total Eclipse of the Heart, obviously. But I think it would be cool to take some of the newer musicals and kind of add a little crossover twist onto them. Because there's so much good new material coming out, which would be cool to put together.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I was there when you started to do the creative process behind Total Eclipse of the Heart and just try to say, listen, okay, like
Ooh.
Freddie Mercury was here, so you do the Bohemian Rhapsody part here, and then okay, there you go. Now start Total Eclipse of the Heart.
We need to
Bohemian
give you the
Rhapsodize
credit.
it. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. I think you do so well with that one.
I think that's a great idea. I think we need to tell Wendy so
Yeah.
she can
How
get on
has
that.
performing as part of Ida Girls influenced your individual approach to singing and artistry?
Um, I feel like the nice thing with Ida is the team side of it. So, like even last night, the gig I did, I was supporting my amazing friend. She's so good, called Lucy Conley. She's like singer, actor, comedian. She's brilliant. Um, but the last time I did Crazy Cox, I was singing there with Ida, and it actually felt weird standing on the little stage without them beside me and just on my own. So I think it's the team side of it. Um, and it really does improve your harmony work and your musicality because you're constantly working on the blend as opposed to just
Mhm.
yourself. Um, so I think that side of it, and because everyone has their different strengths, again, they push you in areas that maybe are not your comfort zone, which is quite nice.
Yeah, wow. So we're mentioning lockdown some time ago. I forgot to ask you, what challenges did Ida Girls face recording separately during lockdown? How did you overcome those?
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
Well, we had to learn. So we all had to buy a lot of equipment, and then kind of learning how to use it was the challenge. But actually, it's been so useful to now have the stuff and know how to do it yourself. I have an amazing friend called Al that I met a few years ago who's done a lot of recording and mixing for Ida, and he's the best. He's so good at what he does, and he's so lovely and helpful. And he actually walked me through with a lot of the stuff so I'd know what to do. And he still continues to mix a lot for Ida. And what we would sometimes do is we would record our vocals and then send the files to Al, and he would mix them remotely. Um, so it was hard. And do you know what the most challenging thing was? Setting up the tripods or tripods, not tripads, and them falling over, or like you'd sing it and then a wire would get caught, and then you'd get the rage, or the camera wouldn't be recording and you thought it was. So it was a lot of frustration and a lot of being like calm. But yeah.
So, Sarah, looking ahead, what are some goals or projects you're excited to pursue in your career?
Oh, so I've got some nice things this year that are coming up, but I'm not allowed to talk about them until they're publicised. So we'll wait and see on those. But I've got some cool stuff happening this year, which is we've got a few things with Ida. So then I've got these other things that are separate from Ida, which I'm not allowed to publicise until they do, under contract. But yeah, there's some fun, different things happening this year. And then with Ida, we have a couple of little cruises in, a couple of nice little gigs. My parents are going to come with us on our next little cruise. I actually just had a text from Georgie a minute ago while we were doing this, just with a confirmation number for my parents, which will be really nice. They're going to come on for their wedding anniversary. So yeah, so it's a nice little mixture of bits and bobs.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for being on the platform with
Yay.
Amy and I. Thank you, Amy, for being my co-host once
Oh, you're
again.
welcome. Thank you for having
You're
me
doing
again.
yeah, you're doing so well. One final question, Sarah. What advice would you give to aspiring young singers, especially those interested in classical and crossover genres?
Oh, good question. Meet as many people as you can, cross train as much as you can. I think the more styles that you can introduce yourself to singing wise, the better. So I would never say, I mean, unless you want to purely just do opera, fine, go train in opera. But I think it's just so much more beneficial to have cross training in a bit of everything because one, you've got the flexibility. Two, you've got more control over your voice. That's kind of the way I teach. You've got more control over your voice, so you know if somebody wants this sound, you know how to do it. You can make it. You're confident enough to do it. I think training is so important because it just gives you the tools to, which kind of takes the fear out of stuff, and kind of gives you the, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It's the confidence. I think half of it is the confidence, and I didn't have that when I was younger, and I wish I did. So that's kind of my main thing is just go and do it. Worst that will happen is you need to try again, and that's fine. But just go and do it in the first place.
Would your advice be different if they said, I want to be an opera singer like you?
Well, I say, do you know now, I actually don't do opera as much as I used to at all anymore. I would say I do more musical theatre, kind of poppy, jazzy stuff these days. So I think even if I wanted to go back and do pure opera, I'll probably have to also go back and train a lot just to get back into that side of things. So I think it's all different disciplines, isn't it? It's all the same instrument, but there's so many different ways you can use it. And I think it's just knowing shifts to make to get you into these different placements.
Yeah, I'm totally disappointed. Britney Spears is a soprano, and she never followed through with that. And Christina Aguilera is a mezzo soprano.
Mhm.
And I'm so sad that they never explored those genres. They just simply went total pop. But I would love to have seen Britney up there just singing in like opera, or Christina Aguilera doing her mezzo, because like opera is such a wonderful genre, you know?
Yeah, it is. But also, I'm like, everyone's going to have a style that feels like them. So I understand that side of it. I personally love to sing a bit of everything. So, and I think I'd get really bored if someone was like, you can only sing this style. Now that's it. So I do understand that people will have like, this is like my home place. This is the music that I feel like represents me. And it's the same with Christina Aguilera. I actually think she does use a lot of classical technique in some of her runs and stuff. It's just because it's in a pop environment, you don't necessarily discern them as much. But I think her voice is amazing. In particular, Christina Aguilera, I was a massive fan of her growing up, and still am. She's so good.
Yeah, she is.
Mhm.
Sarah Vaughan, really appreciate you being on the podcast. Enjoyed the conversation, enjoyed the interview. Thank you, Amy, for co-hosting with me again. Can't wait for you
Yeah,
to do more. And like looking forward to reading an article you're going to write for Natasha as well. That's going to be
that's
interesting.
right.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Apart from that, Sarah, thank you so much for being on the platform. Amy, any
Yeah, it was
last
so
words?
lovely to finally meet you.
Yes,
Yeah, so
great to
lovely to
meet you.
see you.
Thank you, Sarah, so much. And I can't wait to hear more from you. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, everyone. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you
Everything
so
will be
much.
linked down below, show notes, and the Les Miserables um, version of the Other Girls will be down there and everything. So, all right. So just wait right there. You too. Okay, everyone. Bye. Bye, Amy.
Bye.
Bye, Sarah. Okay.